Hey everyone, and welcome to another Kinsta Talks episode. My name is Marcel Bootsman, and I am the Partnerships and Community Manager for EMEA at Kinsta. And in the call today is Juan Francisco Aldasoro. Hey Juan, how are you doing?
Doing good. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Excellent. I'm good, thank you very much. Juan is a long-time contributor to the WordPress project, and we had our previous talk in December. Lots of things have changed. There's some pretty exciting stuff to talk about. And before we started recording this call, we had a little short conversation of the agenda. So we are going to talk about the UX improvements that Juan has been working on for the block editor. Juan has also been working on the AI plugin for WordPress 7.0, which has been delayed, and a new release schedule. We just had a little peek in that. A new release schedule will be delivered no later than April 22nd. So that's not the target release date. It's the release date for the release schedule, to be clear. Further, Juan has also been working on the admin reskin. I had a short conversation with Tammy about that. So I'm pretty curious to hear what is happening with that project. And Juan has some news to tell us, and I'm keeping this as a spoiler. No, not as a spoiler, as a cliffhanger. That's the right word for at the end of this call to announce whatever Juan is wanting to announce. So Juan, how you been doing?
Great. Lots of things happened since we last spoke in December. I think in the whole technology ecosystem, it was a particular Christmas holiday break with with Sonnet and all these kind of like new models going on. I think it radically changed how it worked from December until now, and basically AI became kind of like the reality and just not kind of like this I don't know, fantasy world of like, okay, maybe it can do this or it can do that. Now it's kind of like we have the confirmation that it's pretty much a really important tool that is going to be part of our workflows for sure, and hopefully not replacing us, but
I hope so
leveraging
too.
what we can do with it. So yeah, it's been a few months. It's been a few months where a lot of things happen, as I mentioned, and it didn't feel like months with AI. It feels kind of like years. So apologies if I look more old or anything, but it's
Compare the two videos later on to see what
yeah,
has changed about you in
yeah.
4 months.
It's like that. Weeks, they feel like years now.
Yeah, well, developments in AI are going that fast as well. You know, when previously with previous software developments, it took us months and
Yeah,
years, and now we're really talking about weeks, as you said. Indeed.
yeah. Every day I open Claude or other tools, and they're kind of like asking me to kind of like close it and open it again because there's a new update available, and that's crazy.
Yeah, it
Um,
is.
so yeah, on the contribution side, it's we're heading into a really exciting release. 7.0 is around the corner. It was supposed to be released last week during WordCamp Asia, but things got a bit delayed there. But for good reasons, because there's some good things that we as a project want to introduce. In terms of my contributions, I've been basically focusing for the last part of last year and the beginning of this year on some UX things that I was working on before, and things that I feel like are like a bit of polish. Such as renaming the blocks with a keyword shortcuts and things that improve the creation flow when you're using the blocks editor. There's also a lot of things happening in terms of the UI, the design system and the component system in Gutenberg. There's kind of like a whole revamp of many components and stuff like that. So I also participated quite a lot on core reviews and some changes there. Improved the UX of the starter content model. when you're creating a page and you're kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah. So I improved a bit the UX there, fixed the accessibility check for buttons. So before you couldn't see any notification when your buttons were having contrast issues or things like
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
So I also worked on that, and by modifying some things of the accessibility checks there, it was kind of like improving the checks as a whole. And I also been working on adding some reset buttons to background controls and things like that also in the component area.
Those are nice
Um,
to have as well. Yes. Were there
yeah,
were there
yeah.
were there any particular reasons to revamp some of the designs that are used in the block editor?
No, I think it's more than anything. The efforts there are more related to kind of like creating a solid design system and component system that can grow not only to cover what the needs are for the blocks editor, but for people extending screens right nowadays. Luckily, LLMs were fed with a lot of open source um, solutions and code. And as an open source solution, we are kind of like lucky. Uh, and we're also lucky that at some point, as a project, we chose to use React for the blocks editor. So it's really easy to create, I don't know, new screens and stuff with LLMs if they're React based. So
Yeah.
I think it's crucial what's happening in the components area and the design system in that regard, because once the LLMs learn how to play with them, it would be really easy for many people in the ecosystem to create solutions that are in line of in line with what the core team is trying to set as a foundation.
Yeah.
Um, so there's a lot of primitives being set in terms of colors, schemes, dimensions, this and that's maybe before they were kind of like all over the place, and now they're concentrated better. And we start seeing that with some things in the admin. For example, now that the fonts are being available in 7.0 to not only block themes but other types of themes. So these screens are and the connector screens, they're using this new design system and this new updated component system that is the one that I was talking and referring to.
Yeah, cool. Is there any place where people that are watching this video can see what is happening, can monitor changes or see
Yeah,
pull requests, those
yeah,
kind of things?
yeah. Everything is happening in the Gutenberg repository. Um, if you want to look for pull requests and issues, there's pretty much the labels that I mean, you can use the labels to filter the PRs that are related to that. And there's a Gutenberg a group in the GitHub repository that is called Gutenberg components. Um, so you can see that those changes are released then over to the package on npm, and you can consume it from your own WordPress plugin, or if you're using it for any other project that is React based.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Nice to know
Yeah.
and good information that is. Besides the UX improvements in the block editor in Gutenberg, you've also been working on the AI plugin that is going
Yeah.
to be released with WordPress 7.0 as well.
Well, the plugin is already out there. So I think it's part of the featured plugin list, or it was, because there were some experiments going on with the features plugin list. Things have changed there, so used to be there at least 2 weeks ago, and it's basically a plugin, a canonical plugin that its objective is to showcase more or less what can be achieved with the different foundations that the AI team is setting on in core. So basically, it's now for 7.0, it's going to be using the connectors, the connections that are being set from the connector screen, which is living in the settings menu. And then once you connect to different services like OpenAI or Anthropic or Gemini, and there are some other contributors that ended up creating other types of connectors, such as Mistral or other self-hosted models and stuff like that. Once you set that up, you can enable AI experiments for your site, meaning that you can, I don't know, for the blocks editor, enable an experiment to regenerate the title, and that's going to be regenerating the title depending on the context that it's retrieved in the content of the post or page. You can create images with AI, and you can do some other things. It's a way for core to show what's possible to do with the AI capabilities that are shipping, and it's really exciting. I got excited to see what was happening, and that led me to start contributing a bit and get a bit more immersed because I'm curious about all these different things, and I can help myself. But when I open a repository and I start trying things out, if I see something that I can propose or I can change or I can improve, I just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, that's a good skill you have there, absolutely, and it is respected and by the WordPress community, absolutely. If you look at the AI possibilities that are in WordPress because of that plugin, but also because of WordPress 7.0 is around the corner, and there is some AI stuff. Well, to summarize it like that, integrated. Um, have you been using some of these features for your own website or for projects?
I've been testing out different things. So far, not these things in core. I've seen that there are some companies that are using the MCP to kind of like talk to the site remotely um, through the AI apps as the clients, more or less.
Yep.
But I haven't done that. I was more kind of like doing it the old way, the old school. I was just using the different apps and things locally to create things and to then push them to the different projects that I've been working on. What I've been doing kind of like tangentially is using these things through the contributions that I've been doing to the AI plugin, because these are basically using the SDK and things like that to connect with the services and get the responses. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds pretty cool. It's opening up a lot of opportunities for a lot of us out there, for people that manage WordPress sites, that create content. The possibilities are endless, and I'm really looking forward to the
Yeah.
situation where WordPress is this hub, that you don't need a lot of tabs open or windows open, where you have your local LLM running or whatever. You can just all couple it with your WordPress site through the MCP layer,
Yeah.
and do whatever magic you want to do, with WordPress in the center.
Yeah, it's exciting because it changes the way that we create, can be pages or kind of like layouts and stuff like that. But it can also be the content that you're writing, where is that you're doing it, but also how you consume it. The important thing that the team is doing, the AI team is doing, is that they're setting kind of like the right foundations because now it's not only that the consumers are going to be the visitors, you're going to have agents. It's going to be the the new consumer,
Yep.
and the new creator as well. So I think the right foundations are being set for this new entity that is going to be creating and consuming. That it's capable of doing what it needs to do. I think for the rest, if it's gonna be changing the way that we humans consume or not, it's more a philosophical thing, maybe, because I think we're also visual animals, and I don't know, we'll still appreciate kind of like good designs and good experiences and things like that. So I don't think it's gonna be the death of websites, for
I hope
sure.
that I hope that will be the case, and also
Yeah,
with the younger generation. You know, there are people growing up right now that will will know AI as being around as and using it, of course, and some websites they will probably never see because the information is being pushed through them through the AI
yeah,
responses.
yeah,
But yeah, I certainly hope that websites will still be visited by humans
yeah,
and not just by agents.
yeah, exactly. But yeah,
Yes,
that will maybe kind of like yeah, light up some challenges for us, people that are creating the web, in terms of like how is that we create and how we make it appealing enough for somebody to visit and not to consume. I mean, of course, if you want to ask a particular question to the AI, it's going to consume the information, going to come back to you, but uh, we need to create experiences that are worth to be consumed. And I
absolutely.
think that's also the challenge.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Um, keep going forward about some design stuff you've been working on. You also mentioned that the admin reskin
Yeah,
is in progress. What do you see what is the timeline of the project? Has there been a date set for this to be released, or are there just a number of to do items, and whenever those are done, the reskin is done?
yeah. No, to be fair, it's something that it's not that I participated deeply, but I've been testing 7.0 and I just saw some issues. Basically, what's happening is that there's kind of like a coat of fresh paint, to say so, to for in order to make the current admin, which is based on PHP and HTML files and the whole kind of like system based on MP6, if you want to say so,
Yeah.
uh, into something that it's more similar to the design system, which is the foundation of the new components and the new screens that I was talking before, which is basically the blocks editor. So there's a switch in the default accent color. There's a switch on spacing and here and this and that. And while testing 7.0, I ended up like finding a few bugs and things that were present, and I ended up jumping, as I was mentioning before. I cannot help myself. So uh, I mean, just to make one really explicit, for example, I was logging. I normally use the beta tester plugin on my development environment so that I can be up to date with what's coming.
Yeah.
And I was logged in. I was logging in, and I just saw that the WordPress logo color was matching the previous version and not the new modern version, the blue. So that's, for example, something I contributed to.
Okay.
Then
Cool.
some. We ended up going uh, with a gray logo because the the midnight blue was maybe too much to have in buttons and the logo at the same time. Uh, and then some issues with the focus and focus on links and stuff like
Okay.
that. So those were my contributions there. And apart from testing and trying to find yeah, issues around that.
Okay, yeah, it's pretty cool to repeat to the people that are looking at this video that if you want to test out if WordPress 7.0 has not been released when you are looking at this video, you can test out WordPress 7.0 on your local machine. Install the beta tester plugin, and you can install basically the nightly builds,
Yeah.
so you can actually see what is happening in WordPress. You can check out Track, which is on core.track.wordpress.org. Search for reskin, then you can see some tickets there that mention this project, and you can see some screenshots and propositions and those kind of things. And yeah, I'm actually very excited about giving it a fresh coat of paint is what has been used, and that's exactly what it is. Is it very important? I don't know. I think it's more important that we get all the AI stuff and the um, collaborative. What was it?
Real-time collaboration.
Yeah, the real time collaboration. Thank you. Those are the important stuff, and those are really big ones that we are going to release in WordPress 7.0. But taking the reskin into account, plenty of people are working on it, and it all looks way smoother and nicer, which hopefully will help a lot of more people work with their content in WordPress.
Yeah, I think bringing a cohesive experience in terms of admin, it's crucial because maybe there was some sort of disconnect between the old admin, to say so, and the blocks editor, which became the site editor right now. You can basically, if you have a blog theme, you can manage almost everything. And I understand that the idea is to continue going that direction. So kind of like bringing cohesion to the two different design languages and adapting it to the most modern one. It's crucial so that people, I don't know, it's kind of like when you're using a product, it's more like muscle memory, and once you start seeing the same colors, the same elements, these and that, it's creating a better experience overall. So
Yeah,
it's a good first step. Hopefully, at some point, things are going to be more migrated into a system, and it's not that we're going to have more things splitted. And data views is something super exciting that has been going for quite a while, and it's maturing in really nice ways. So basically, it's a project on Gutenberg as well that it's basically taking care of, if we want to summarize it, kind of like how things are presented in tables and grids and stuff like that, also forms.
yeah,
So I think it's really important for what's to come. And eventually, I feel like it's the information is going to be presented pretty much on top of this, the list of pages, list of posts, and the media library. There's also some progress there happening. And eventually all these things are gonna start going more into this direction, and
cool.
the reskin is a great first step.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And these are all great steps. But yeah, we only have so many hours to work on it per week, and
Yeah,
not everybody has the same amount of hours, and we're all contributing. And yeah, and we just have to see when it's all going to be released. But it's going to be fun. Absolutely, I know
yeah,
that.
yeah, absolutely.
Right. So, you mentioned in the beginning, before we started record, that you had some interesting news to share with us. So I'm very curious if you can explain to our viewers what is going on.
So yeah, well, it was an exception last year that there was not a default theme on WordPress, but every year there's a new default theme coming. I participated in 2025, that was developed in actually in the year 2024. I was co-leading development there with Carolina Nymark from Sweden. And this year it was announced that there's going to be a new theme that is called 2027. So we've been in conversations, and yeah, the leadership team was announced, and I'm going to be part of that. It's a new role, so it's something a bit experimental. Design is going to be the design lead is going to be Enrique Yamarino. an experienced theme designer, and development is going to be managed by Margarita Cabrera, Maggie Cabrera, and also Carolina. So I'm going to be stepping into this new role that is called lead mentor, and it has to do with basically guiding new participants and people that are interested in contributing, so that everyone's energy goes into the right direction. One of the things that AI is bringing is that there's a lot more excitement on contributing to open source. I think it's something that will need to be reviewed at some point, because it's creating bottlenecks in terms of reviews and stuff like that. And maybe this role is a bit related to that, and also to the fact that there's initiatives to start attracting more and more contributors via the WP credits program and things like that. And themes in particular is an area that is really attractive to new contributors. So conversations happen, and I think the agreement was that there's a good opportunity of having a role like this, in order to be guiding participation, and to create material or find ways to make the contribution path as smooth as possible.
Yeah.
And that people can feel welcome, and can have a fulfilling experience, so that they can later maybe want to repeat and to start extending, I don't know, their contribution areas and do it somewhere else, like core and stuff like that. So we'll figure out what it looks as we go, but it sounds sounds exciting. It's also an exciting opportunity for me personally to get there in the leadership team.
Yeah,
I worked
absolutely.
already with Carolina, and met Maggie before. Enrique, he looks amazing. So I'm pretty happy that Anne offered me the opportunity, and that the rest of the team agreed. So the theme is supposed to be out in 7.2. That would be
Okay.
end of the year.
Yep.
December, differently from other themes. I think it was intentionally that the work started earlier, because also with block themes, I don't know how it's going to be this time, but for example, with 2025, there were a lot of patterns, and it was a lot of work to be done there. And it's sometimes difficult to review all these contributions, because in the end, patterns are markup that is created by the blocks editor, and then sometimes you need to replace IDs and stuff like that. So sometimes you're kind of like going back and forth in terms of kind of like, okay, you merge something and then you need to review it, and then um so when you have like, I don't know, 5 patterns, it's not a problem, but when you have, I don't know, dozens,
Mhm. Yeah.
it becomes one. um
And maybe even if you think about patterns, that might be a good case to use AI to help people build their own patterns.
Yeah, 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 for sure. I'm curious how it's gonna be. I know that there's a lot of companies building layers on top of AI, so that it's kind of like playing better with these things. So I'm curious how that's gonna play out, and how smart the models are gonna be in that sense.
Yes.
But for sure, it's an interesting area, and it's also one of the most attractive areas of contribution for new contributors, because in the end, turns if you have a design, it's more or less translating that design that it's in a Figma into the editor, and kind of like getting the code that the editor is spitting out and just putting
Yes.
that into the theme. So yeah, I'm curious how it's gonna go. It's if I think that it's already April and December looked like it was 10 years ago, I don't know. I don't know how it's how these themes is gonna be in next December and how things are gonna
Time
be in
time
December. Yeah.
flies. You know,
Yeah.
it's already April. So the half of April already. So May is around the corner. You know, it's just, yeah, time flies. It's insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to thank you for your time to tell the people what you are working on and what the WordPress team is working on. There are some very exciting things going to happen in the next few weeks with the release of WordPress 7.0 as a first step. We have the reskin that's happening. We have the new default theme that is coming end of the year, but it's almost there. And
Yeah.
so yeah, again, I want to thank you for your time. I'm very happy that we've got to cover everything we wanted to cover, and I hope that people will enjoy this conversation that we had. And if they are inspired to join contributing themselves, please take a look at make.wordpress.org. All the information you need is over there. If it's overwhelming, you know, you're very happy to reach out to Juan or me or other people from the WordPress community to say, hey, help, I want to contribute to whatever. Can you help me? We are absolutely open to help anyone that wants to start contributing or expand their contributing tasks.
Yeah.
All
Thanks,
right.
Marcel. It was a
You're
pleasure.
welcome.
Thanks for having me. It's always great chatting. And let's see how the world is next time we have a conversation.
Let's see how the world is.
Yeah.
Let's promise that we're gonna do it a little bit sooner than
Yeah.
after 4 months, but we'll see.
Or
Because in
or I send my agent next time.
Oh, that could be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
wondering how long it will take that we that we can interview someone
Yeah.
by just talking to an agent that knows exactly what you have been doing. You know, it's not something that's not possible.
Yeah.
It is possible already, but yeah, I'm very curious to
Exactly.
see how that goes. Again, thank you very much, Juan. Looking
Yeah.
forward to talking to you again next time. And for the viewers, thanks for watching and hope to see you on the next episode of Kinsta Talks. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye.